My name is Uni, and welcome back to my Survival World series. Now, I had someone comment on my last episode about my truss bridge. I think it was E9628, and they said that my truss did not need these extra supports. And they are absolutely right. I did not even notice this at first, but these pieces right here do not need to be here whatsoever because they don't actually provide any structural support, and that's what E was trying to tell me. And if we just take the last bit of this out and step back, you'll see it as well. That is definitely what it's supposed to look like. So I'm gonna fix up the other three because I don't know how I didn't see this before. It's also kind of a little embarrassing. I went off last episode about how I like making things super realistic and very much rooted in the real world so that a build feels like it has functionality and has a very good form to it. All right, wow, already so much better. E had it correct, and I can't believe I missed it again. I mean, the whole idea of the truss structure is to provide a span of support so that you don't actually need any support below it. If you ever see anything like this, as E did, make sure to leave a comment for me so I can fix it, because I want to keep true to the previous statement I had made where form follows functionality. And of course, the form of this bridge now is so much better because of the functionality of the truss. Now, of course, I can't just ignore what we had built last episode because look at this thing. This is our Japanese tower. And the whole point of this place was to build out the Tin Tower from Pokemon. And if you want to see what's up in these rafters, I'll leave the playlist for my Let's Play series in the description, so you can check that out at the end of this episode in order to see what lies above my head. But now we've got to move on to today's project, which involves us going to the complete opposite side of my world, past my hexagon city, and beyond my custom mountains made with geologic units folding in all its grandness, out towards our meandering river landscape with our giant oak trees. And just beyond this particular tree, I have an area that I want to fill out with a beautiful winery and village. Now, I'm sure we've all tried to build hobbit holes in the past. I have made my fair share of them as well, but I want to make a tiny little community based on hobbit holes. We're going to have our hobbit holes sitting over here for all the workers who live on the winery. And I even have a history with wineries. I built one back in Kingcraft season either 3 or 4, I want to say, which is an old SMP that I used to play on before I was on the Afterlife SMP. And when I had built that vineyard a long time ago, I want to say at least 10, maybe 9 years ago. So it was just lines and lines of bushes. But now we have so much more stuff, so much more fauna that I can play around with to make a beautiful vineyard. And I gotta say, the scale at which we had built back in the day, for me, that scale was huge and humongous. But I'm thinking back to it now, it wasn't really that big. It was probably just the size of this area in general. And now that's just a single episode type of build. But not only that, we're going to be building out the hobbit holes, the vineyard. We're going to be making so much stuff in today's episode. So buckle up and enjoy while we start off with the hobbit holes. I got a question for you, and I don't understand why this is the case, but I want to know, why do we call this a hobbit hole? I'm being serious. I really want to know, because if this were really a hobbit hole, this would be like half the size. We would have a one-space door, essentially. This would definitely not be 2 meters tall. You would have to have the hobbits crawling through a tiny little space like this in order for it to be considered a hobbit hole, right? It makes sense, right? Like, these should be way smaller to be considered hobbit holes. So I'm from here on out, even though the title probably says hobbit hole somewhere, I am now going to refer to these as earthen homes, we'll call them, because they are definitely filled with earth still. Gotta get the interior done on another day, but we have the exterior at least for now, in true uni fashion, of course. Brought a little friend over here as well. I want to add some livestock to the area sometime in the future, but let me know what you think here. I love the trees that are around this place. Got some hedges that line the roads, some paths that lead to the houses and the farms, as well as this pond off over here. And I've even stocked it with a fair amount of tropical fish for us to look at as we enjoy the beautiful scenery. And my goodness, I gotta say, this is probably the most detail I've ever put into a landscaping project. And if you look at the flowers, this especially is something that I am very proud of, and that is that they change hue as you go up. We start off with more of a red and pink tone and then go into blue and yellow all across here. And if we just go off into the sky, you can see the expanse of flowers all the way across these dwellings. Now, another thing to note about these trees is their leaves. I did a little bit of shading with 3 different variations of leaf color. So we have the azalea leaves near the top, where the sunlight is hitting all the different surfaces and foliage. And then we have all the oak leaves in the middle, where it is a neutral tone, and then spruce leaves near the bottom, where all the shadows and shading is. You know what's really cool is now we have all these leaf particles falling from the tree. That is the type of thing that I love about this game. It just adds an ambience that just makes this so much more better. You know what's something that I wish we did have as well? That would be a rustling noise to the leaves, as if there was wind going through this area. They added the sand sounds, and I would really like that for leaves as well. Kind of an ambient noise that plays when you're nearby any sort of leaf block. And the term for that I've learned recently is called citherism. It's really hard to spell, trust me, but it doesn't start with an S, I can tell you that. It starts with a PS and something, I don't know. It's I'm the last person to ask about spelling, but citherism is just the word for the sound of leaves rustling in the wind. Now, I've got plans for this brick road off to the side. It's going to be going into a wine cellar for our vineyard. And that means we're not done yet. We've probably got maybe a quarter of the way finished with the final vision for this little village. Now that's a name for a that's a name for a village, right? Yep. Okay. Well, we'll fix those up someday once we build out the rest of this. There's all this real estate right here that we got to cover with stuff. I want to add more trees, more wheat, and of course, more farmland and hedges. This has to be one of the quaintest little farms I've ever built so far, and it's right in front of where we had popped out after the time lapse. And I think I like this style of dwelling the most. It goes off script from, the Hobbit holes over there, but it definitely gives the place a lot more variance to the type of architecture within the earthen dwellings. But if we leave this spot and go through the garden off towards our vineyard, you'll get to see an experimental style of grapevines that I've been working on. Now, if you remember at the beginning of this episode, I had mentioned a previous vineyard that I had made back in like 2015 maybe. And when I had made that, I had used almost the exact same layout. We had the fence posts with all of the jungle leaves, but I've added something a little new to spice it up. We've got all these custom paths going through the different rows of vines, and we can think of this podzol as a natural mulch formed from all the dead leaves from previous vines that drop down to provide nutrients to the soil for the next round of vines to grow in the year. And all this bamboo is acting as a trunk for each individual grapevine. I had this new idea and I wanted to try it out. I had seen people using dead bushes and all sorts of other things, but I liked this concept a little more because I could variate it with the bamboo, since each one of these is not quite centered on the middle of the block. And I like that about this. It makes it feel like it's a little more cluttered and sporadic, and you're not getting an even distribution, which is not what you would see at an actual vineyard. You would see a lot of weirdness and variation for all the different trunks. That plus it also connects to the bush and the ground perfectly. The dead bushes have a little bit of an issue with how they connect to the bottom side of the leaves. So let me know what you think of this, and if you think it's a good idea or if I should modify it, leave that down in the comments below and I'll take a look at what your suggestions are. But I like it, and this entire place is feeling really good so far. I want to expand it out further if we just take a look from the sky, you can see it's only occupying this section of the hill slope. But I want to expand this all the way out here, even across the way on this side of the field. Now, personally, I'm more of a beer guy. I don't really enjoy wine that much. It's a little too sugary, but I'm sure the occupants of this area love wine. And we're going to be making a wine cellar next episode right over here, as I had said. So we're going to excavate this out in a little bit. But let's go check out these 3 little pillars. I completely skipped over these things and just let you guys kind of speculate on what they could be, if you noticed them at all, of course. I don't know. They kind of stick out very abruptly and have no purpose. But if you look at them closely, there's a little pocket right here. And what my idea is once I update this world to 1.21.6, I'm going to be putting an entity within here and then attaching it to another and string it all the way up to the tree to act as a little bit of a light display. It's a concept that I've been working on in the past and up until now, but now that there's an update where leads don't break anymore and you can attach them to more than just animals, not only to mention the fact that you can string them together, that makes this perfect for our setup. So once that updates, I'm going to be making this. I've got this cool design where the lanterns will be hanging out on the middle of the line to make it look like they're an actual string of lights. And it looks amazing. You just got to trust me. Once it happens, you'll see how good it looks. Oh, dear Lord. This is a problem. I hear a lot of guys under here. Oh, okay. Yep. I need to take care of that at some point. We're just going to put that down. And I'm going to make a little bit of a reminder to myself to take care of this at some point, because this is going to be another one of my vineyards. So I want to make this place, a little more enjoyable to walk through. I just want to fly over this. Ooh, ouch. Now I'm over here in between my custom mountains, walking down towards the valley to see if I can get a glimpse of our little village. Oh, and already you can see the trees right there off the corner. If we zoom in, oh yeah, there might even be a line of sight if we go this way. I need to make a little path through here so that we can just walk all the way from the Hexagon City down to a little earthen village. And yeah, that is looking really nice. And I'm probably going to end up not getting that view in the future, unless, of course, I walk over here. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is perfect. I'm going to be putting another oak tree right here. I want to add in a lot more trees in the future as well. And you know what? I'm going to pop in a little picture of what my inspiration was, because where I live, there are just tons of oak trees out in fields, and you can see where I get my inspiration for this tree design. If we come back to the game, you'll notice that exact look is how I shaped this tree. And oh my goodness, what a beautiful sunset. This is a perfect time, I think, to end off today's episode. Let's get a beautiful view of the earthen village. So thank you everyone for watching today's episode. Make sure to leave it a like and subscribe to the channel, because I would really appreciate it. My name is Uni. I am jogging it out today, and I will see you guys next time.